refrain from using recording devices or flash photography. There will be a 10-minute intermission between acts. Gunshot sound effects and simulated weapons will be used during this performance. Thank you for attending, and let the games begin.
McCarthy's shrieking denunciations and fear-mongering have created a climate of fear and suspicion across the country, raising the question in households across the nation, who are the un-American Americans among us?
Any man who has been named by either a senator of a committee or a congressman is dangerous to the welfare of this nation.
President Eisenhower refuses to engage directly with McCarthy. In a letter to his brother, however, Eisenhower explains, as for McCarthy, only a short-sighted or completely inexperienced individual would urge the use of the office of the presidency.
Look! I didn't see you come in! You frightened me after death!
Wouldn't want to do that. There are so many better ways to die. Please turn off that noise. Is everything ready?
Oui.
Good. Cook!
You called, sir?
Everything on schedule.
Dinner will be ready at 7:30. Sharp.
Ah, right on time. You have your instructions?
Oui.
Very well, then. Let the game begin. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm not sure if I'm in the right...
Yes, indeed. You are expected, Colonel.
How do you know my...
It is Colonel Mustard, isn't it?
Oh, no, that's not my name. My name is
I
Colonel...
believe it's been recommended that tonight you use a pseudonym.
Oh, no, thank you. I took an antihistamine before I came.
May I take your coat?
Oh, I suppose
Oh! Not to worry, Colonel. It's just the maid in the hall with the champagne cork.
Champagne?
Oh, don't mind if I do.
This way, monsieur.
Ah, thank you. Are you expecting someone else?
Indeed. I'll be with you in a moment.
Follow me, Colonel.
With pleasure, my dear.
Do come in, madam. You are expected. Welcome.
Do you know who I am?
Only that you are a socialite to be known this evening as Mrs. White.
Yes, it said so in my letter. But
May
why?
I introduce you? Mrs. White, this is the maid, Yvette. I see you two know each other.
We've never met. Champagne? I think not.
Please, warm yourself in the lounge.
Why? Do I look cold?
A bit. I'll be right with you.
Oh, hello.
Hello, pleased to meet you.
I'm rarely pleased to meet anyone. More?
Oh, yes.
Bonjour, madame. Please come in from Serene.
Mrs. Peacock, I presume?
Who? Oh, yes, that's me.
Cook! Will you please take Mrs. Peacock's stole? I see you two know each other.
Don't be ridiculous. I've never seen this woman before in my life.
Champagne?
My lips belong to the Lord.
Please, make yourself comfortable in the lounge.
Thank you. Oh, and for your hospitality. And there's a couple of Benjamins under the caramels for you, butler.
How sticky.
I expect to be treated like the wife of a senator.
Hold that thought. Right this way. After you, Mrs. Peacock.
Thank you. Oh my, look at the detail of this molding. This is quite a magnificent mansion, isn't it? Who are you?
Welcome to the party.
Well, this is turning out to be quite the crowd.
It's the right address to meet on Mr. Body?
Sit! No, not you, sir.
Sorry.
Please, come in.
Excuse me, I'm afraid this letter has me rather anxious.
You must be Mr. Green.
Yes, that's exactly who I am.
Welcome, sir.
Oh, this isn't at all what I was expecting.
I find that if you expect nothing, you're never disappointed.
Oh, I'm not disappointed.
Pardon me, sir. Good evening.
Please arrive at 7:30 sharp on Saturday evening. Well, here I am.
Professor Plum.
If you say so.
Well, and I thought I'd seen everything.
Miss Scarlet. Welcome. I didn't realize you and the professor were acquainted.
We're not. The bridge is washed out from the rain. My car broke down, and this professor offered to give me a ride. I didn't realize we were headed to the same place until we arrived.
How was your drive?
It's a long haul.
Indeed. It is a long haul, but then, it's a very large house. This way, please.
Say, what is this god-forsaken place anyway?
This old place? Oh, this is Body Manor. Cook. Dinner.
Directly.
Appetizers in the lounge. After you.
Ooh, hors d'oeuvres. Good, I'm starving.
Funny, I haven't had much of an appetite at all. Oh.
My, this really is a party.
Well, greetings all. It's a pleasure for you to see me. Ooh, cocktail hour.
There are so many of you. I didn't realize.
Right.
that-
Good then. You're all here. Colonel Mustard.
Present?
Miss Scarlet. Mrs. White.
Yes.
Professor Plum.
Right?
Mr. Green.
That's me.
Mrs. Peacock.
How do you do?
Greetings. I am Wadsworth, the butler. Tonight, as you may have surmised, nobody is being addressed by their real name, a courtesy provided by your host to ensure your privacy. I suggest you all follow his lead and refrain from revealing too much about yourselves this evening. You never know. Dinner.
Oh, sorry, a bit clumsy, I suppose.
Dinner. That was more like a cocktail minute.
Mr. Wadsworth, you were saying you never know when what?
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 This way, please.
Yeah.
We really oughtn't keep her waiting. Cook and get cranky. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me. The dining room is right this way. You'll find your names beside your places. Please be seated.
Now, where do I sit? Hardly share.
This place at the head of the table. Is that for you?
Indeed, no, sir. I do not sit. I am merely a humble butler.
What exactly do you do?
I buttle, sir.
Dinner is served.
Thank you, cook.
All right then, Butler, what's all this about, this dinner party?
Ours not to reason why, ours but to do and die.
Die?
Merely quoting, sir, from Alfred, Lord Tennyson.
I prefer Kipling myself. Do you like Kipling, Colonel?
Oh, sure, I'll eat anything. So, where is our host? Is this where he sits?
All in good time, sir.
What is that smell? It's something familiar.
Shark fin soup?
My favorite!
I know. Bon appetit.
This is delicious. Oh, this is yum, 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 yum. Well, I guess I'll start things off. I mean, I'll be the one to get the ball rolling. I mean, I'm used to being a hostess. It's an integral part of my life as the wife of... Oh, well, I forgot we're not supposed to say who we really are, but... Oh, well, I mean, I have no idea what we're doing here, but I am very intrigued. And oh my, this soup is delicious, isn't it?
I know who you are.
You do?
But I work in Washington.
Washington. So you must be a politician's wife then, Mrs. Peacock?
Yes, I am.
Who's your husband? Maybe I know him.
Well, Mrs. White, you've been awfully quiet. What does your husband do?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, he just lies around on his back all day.
How lazy.
Not necessarily.
Sorry, I'm afraid I'm a little bit accident prone.
That'll be $5, mister.
Sorry,
Mr. Green, what do you do in Washington?
Oh, I'd better not say. I like to follow the rules.
Well, if I wasn't trying to keep the conversation going, then we would all just be sitting here in an embarrassed silence.
Are you afraid of silence, Mrs. Peacock?
Yes? No? Why?
In my professional opinion, it seems like you suffer from what we call pressure of speech.
Is that an official diagnosis?
Are you a doctor, Professor?
In psychological medicine?
Do you practice?
Not anymore. Currently, I work for the U.S. government.
Ah, another politician.
Not exactly. I do research for you know who.
Who?
A branch of the United Nations organization, the World Health Organization.
Ah, you know who. It's an acronym.
I have a sister who is a gymnast.
You are a real colonel, aren't you?
I am, sir.
Aren't you going to mention the coincidence that you also live in Washington, D.C., Colonel?
Oh, how did you know that?
Oh, I've seen you before.
So, Miss Scarlett, does that mean that you live in Washington too?
Sure do.
Does that mean that all of us live in Washington?
Oh. Then, is this about the Red Scare?
Well, I'm not a communist, I'm a Republican.
Wadsworth, we've had enough. Where's our host and why have we been brought here?
Speak of the devil. Pardon me, sir.
Hey, I've got an idea. Ooh, yes, good thinking, Miss Scarlett.
What are we doing?
The acoustic coupling between the door and the glass will allow sound waves to travel from one side to the other.
All the guests have arrived as expected, sir. Everything is going according to plan. We'll meet you in the study.
Oh, for goodness sake! Who was at the door? I demand to know what's going on.
Can I interest any of you in fruit or desserts?
No!
In that case, might I suggest we adjourn to the study for coffee and brandy, at which point I believe your newly arrived host will reveal his intentions, your letters will be explained, and the game will be afoot!
Coffee? Brandy?
Thank you, Yvette. That will be all.
Oui, monsieur.
Well, where is our host?
He's not here! Nobody's here! What is happening?
Cigarette? It'll calm your nerves.
I don't smoke.
For Wadsworth, open after dinner. It's for you.
Right then. Are you comfortable?
I make a good living.
Oh. Out with it, Wadsworth.
Ladies and gentlemen, these instructions are clear.
I'm glad something is.
It seems the 6 of you have all received the same letter. It will be to your advantage to be present on this date, because a Mr. Body will bring to end a certain long-standing, confidential, and painful financial liability.
Yes,
As it turns out, you all have one thing in common.
That tyrant McCarthy. We're being blacklisted, aren't we?
Close, Colonel. You're all being blackmailed. For some considerable time, all of you have been paying more than you can afford to someone who threatens to expose you.
Oh, please. What's somebody going to blackmail me for? I go to church every Sunday.
Yeah, lady, don't we all?
Anybody else wish to deny it? Until you'd received your letters, you hadn't known who was blackmailing you. But now I'm sure even the least discerning amongst you has determined that the man behind your ransom is Mr. Body himself.
Mr. Who is this Body fella, you brutish butler?
Who Mr. Body is no concern of yours. Suffice it to say, he's a supporter of the House of Un-American Activities, and he feels your activities have been decidedly un-American. My task this evening is to expose your secrets to each other, rendering you all culpable in each other's indiscretions.
But we hardly know each other.
Precisely.
Don't you think you might spare us this humiliation?
I'm afraid I have no choice. We'll start with you, Professor Plum.
Ooh, this ought to be good.
It says here, you were once a professor of psychiatry, specializing in pathological, lying lunatics suffering from delusions of grandeur.
Well, yes, but now I work for the U.S. government.
Ah, so your work has not changed. But you can't practice medicine anymore, can you? Your license has been lifted, correct?
Why? What'd he do?
You know how male doctors aren't supposed to date their lady patients?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he did.
How awful! You know, someday there'll be a reckoning for men like you.
I hope so.
Me too.
You're disgusting.
Are you making moral judgments, Mrs. Peacock?
Well,
How then do you justify taking bribes in return for delivering Senator Peacock's votes to certain lobbyists?
My husband is a paid consultant. There's nothing sinful about that.
Not if it's publicly declared. But if you slip cash under the stall door to old Ebbett's Grill, how would you describe that transaction?
I'd say it stinks.
When were you in that men's room?
So it's true!
No! It's a vicious lie!
But you've been paying the blackmail for over a year to keep that story out of the papers. Seems a little sticky, no?
Now see here!
Well, I'm willing to believe you. I too am being blackmailed for something I didn't do.
So am I.
Not me.
You're not being blackmailed?
Oh, I'm being blackmailed, all right. But I did what I'm being blackmailed for.
What did you do?
I run a non-governmental agency that handles classified affairs.
Affairs? In Washington?
Well, is that how you knew the Colonel works in Washington? Is he one of your clients?
Oh, certainly not.
I was asking Miss Scarlet.
Well, you tell him it's not true.
It's not true.
And is that true?
No, it's not true.
Haha, so it is true.
A double negative.
Double negative? You mean you have photographs?
That sounds like a confession to me. In fact, the double negative has led to proof positive. I'm afraid you gave yourself away.
Oh, are you trying to make me look stupid in front of the other guests?
You don't need any help from me, sir. Colonel, looks like you hold a sensitive security post in the Pentagon. Those negatives would most certainly compromise that position.
And what positions exactly were you caught in, Colonel?
Oh, this is an outrage.
Let's see, who's next? Mrs. White, you've been paying our friend the blackmailer ever since your husband died under, shall we say, mysterious circumstances?
Say what you want, I didn't kill him.
Then why are you paying the blackmailer?
I don't want another scandal, do I?
Another.
We had a very humiliating confrontation. He had threatened to kill me in public.
Why would he want to kill you in public?
I think she meant that he had threatened in public to kill her.
It was all over the papers.
And yet, he was the one who died. Not you, Mrs. White. Not you.
He was found dead at home, unclothed. His head had been cut off, and so had his, you know. But I didn't do it. I had been out all evening at the movies.
What was showing?
The Naked Alibi.
A likely story.
But he was your second husband. Your first also disappeared.
Well, that was his job. He was an illusionist.
But he never reappeared.
He wasn't a very good illusionist.
And lastly, Mr. Green, who is a...
I don't need you to unmask me, Wadsworth. Well, I know what you're gonna say about me.
What's that?
Mr. Green, who is a homosexual?
Not me.
I beg your pardon?
You asked who was a homosexual, and I said, not me.
Yes, thank you, Colonel. But there's more to it than that, Mr. Green.
Well, how do you mean?
There's evidence to support the question of your politics.
My politics? Well, since when is working for the Republican Party a crime?
You swore an oath of allegiance to the Republican Party, yet neglected to vote for Eisenhower in the last election. That's grounds for an ousting if ever there was one.
But voting records are confidential.
Everything has its price, Mr. Green.
So, there you have it.
Have what?
A crooked senator's wife, a lascivious doctor, a disloyal Republican, and so forth. Not exactly adhering to an all-American standard of behavior, are you?
Depends on who you ask.
But if this body fella is such a noble civilian himself, why didn't he just report us to the authorities?
And give up the opportunity to make a buck? Come now, Professor. What could be more American than that?
Apple pie.
All right, Wadsworth. So we're being blackmailed by a renegade McCarthyist. Where does that leave us?
Where is this Mr. Body?
And what does he want from us?
Who cares? I'm not staying to find out. I've done nothing wrong. I'm leaving.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Peacock. You can stay in denial, but you cannot leave this house.
I am the wife of a great senator. You can't tell me what to do. Locked?
Indeed. All the doors are locked, the windows are barred, and the grounds are patrolled by vicious dogs. There's no way out. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce your host for the evening and your blackmailer for life, Mr. Body. How do you do? Oh, God.
Ooh, Mrs. White in the study with her knee.
Thank you. I study martial arts.
There is one more piece of information you may like to have.
What?
The police are coming in less than an hour.
Unless what? You agree to double down.
And why would we agree to that?
Because if you don't, then I'll put this briefcase containing all the evidence needed to expose your wrongdoings in the hands of the police, the press, and the House Un-American Committee. With the right spin, those fellas can make a commie out of anyone. I think some of you would be facing a lifetime of jail and others a lifetime of shame. Unless what? Well, there is something you could do for me that would change the game, something I just can't bear to do myself. What? Have a seat, please.
All right, well,
Nope, my spot.
I'm sorry, Miss Scarlett, excuse me. Oh, okay,
Sorry, I'm sitting here.
of course, Colonel, and...
Pardon me.
Well, is it all right if I sit here? Whoa! Sorry, the laxative prone, sorry.
What's this about, sir?
In this bag, there are 6 packages that I thought our guests might find useful this evening.
Packages?
Presents, if you will. I'm a generous sort of fellow.
Are you?
Wadsworth, will you please see to it that each guest receives a gift?
Gladly.
Does anyone want to make a guess as to what's in your boxes?
Perfume?
Candy.
A rare single malt Scotch whiskey.
Aren't guessing games fun? Please, open them.
A candlestick? What's this for?
A wrench.
A lead pipe?
A dagger?
A revolver.
What? A snake!
Oh no. It's a rope.
In your hands, you each have a lethal weapon. You all came here tonight because you believe the evidence against you was so terrible that you would do anything to keep it a secret. I'm putting that theory to the test.
You are?
You see, Wadsworth here is the only other person who knows your secrets, and it's costing us all dearly to keep him quiet.
What do you mean?
Well, I wouldn't have to double your payments if I didn't have to pay Mr. Wadsworth here for his silence.
Wadsworth? That's a lie!
He may look suave and charming,
Thank you.
but really, he's conniving and manipulative.
False!
Well, why do you think he called the police?
You called the police? Only because he instructed me to do so.
Did I? Ladies and gentlemen, if you can manage to get rid of Wadsworth, then I'll have no need to increase your blackmail or expose you to the police.
Get rid of.
Does he mean kill him?
In fact, if you can eliminate Wadsworth,
Yes, I think that's what he means.
who not only knows all of your secrets, but also mine, then I'll eliminate the blackmail altogether and be done with this terrible business once and for all.
You would never!
But why make us do it, Buddy? Why don't you do your dirty work yourself?
Yeah. Well, why should I when the six of you are so uniquely motivated and, well, armed?
What a patriot.
After all I've done for you, he's a liar. I'm one of you. I'm not a butler. I'm an indentured servant.
A familiar refrain. Don't make a scene, Wadsworth. It's over. The police are on their way. Now's your chance. The only way for you to end your blackmail and avoid finding yourselves on the front pages is for one of you to kill Wadsworth. Now.
Mr. Body!
Oh, thank goodness.
Is he breathing?
Stand back. I'm a doctor.
He's dead.
Who had the gun?
I did.
So you shot him?
I did it.
If you didn't, then who did?
Somebody grabbed the gun from my hand, and the next thing I knew, there was a shot.
There's no gunshot wound.
He's right. There isn't. Look. There's a bullet lodged here.
Eagle eye, Miss Scarlet.
Well, if the bullet's over there, then how did he die over here?
I don't know. I'm not a forensics expert.
Something else must have killed him.
One of us must have killed him.
Well, don't look at me. I didn't do it.
Buy me a drink.
Maybe Mr. Body was poisoned by the brandy.
Poison! Oh my God! They poisoned me!
I'm sure you'll be
They put
just fine.
poison in the
There's nothing
brandy,
that you
and
need
I'm
to-
gonna die!
Well, somebody had to stop her screaming.
Was the brandy poisoned?
How should I know?
Looks like now we'll never know.
Unless she dies too.
The screams are coming from the billiard room.
It's locked! Who's in there? Who's screaming?
C'est moi!
Yvette?
Oui!
Yvette, are you all right?
No!
Yvette, are you alive?
Of course I'm alive, you idiot! No thanks you, Wadsworth. You locked us up in this house with the murderer!
So the murderer is here.
Oui!
Where?
Well, here we're all looking at him. Oh,
What took you so long?
I am an old woman who may or may not have been poisoned. It's amazing I'm anywhere. I heard you all in the study. One of you is the killer.
How could you hear us in this study?
I was listening. I have a tape recorder in the billiard room connected to the study. Monsieur Bardi asked me to record the conversation.
Why would he ask you to do that?
For more evidence, of course. Wadsworth revealed all your secrets in the study, and now they're all recorded.
What a snake. I've got to destroy them. Where are the tapes?
Who cares about the tapes? What about the body?
What body?
Body's body!
But Yvette, why are you in there screaming all by yourself?
Because I was frightened. I also drank the cognac. Maybe I'm poisoned too. But one of you is the killer. Monsieur Body is dead.
We have to figure out which one of them did it.
What do you mean, which one of them?
Well, I didn't do it.
Well, one of you did! I would have killed him myself, but I didn't have access to a weapon.
Well, don't look at me. All I got was a candlestick.
Maybe it wasn't one of us.
Who else could it have been?
Who else is in the house?
Only the cook?
The cook!
As far as I can tell, the cook's not here.
What a lovely kitchen. My husband and I had a kitchen very similar to this in our first brownstone. It has such a homey feel.
Oh, it's the cook with a dagger in her back.
Someone must have killed her.
Well, I didn't do it.
This makes two
Two what?
murders!
I hate murders!
I think you'd better explain yourself, Wadsworth.
Me?
Yes, who else would want to kill the cook?
Dinner wasn't that bad.
Oh, how can you make jokes at a time like this?
It's my defense mechanism.
Oh, some defense. If I were the killer, I'd kill you next. I said if. There's only one admitted killer here, and it's not me. It's Mrs. White.
I've admitted nothing.
You paid the blackmail. How many husbands have you had?
Mine or other women's?
Yours.
5.
5?
Yes, just the 5. Husbands should be like Kleenex. Soft, strong, and disposable.
Well, if it wasn't you, who was it? Who had the dagger?
It was Mrs. Peacock!
Yes, but I put it down.
Where?
In the study. Any one of us could have picked it up.
I didn't see it.
Well, then it must have been Mr. Green.
Can somebody please help me?
Oh, good Lord, let him out!
You really ought to learn to speak up for yourself better, Mr. Green.
Oh, my lord. Oh, my lord.
Gentlemen, might I suggest we take the cook's body into the study?
Why?
Well, for starters, when the police arrive, if they find this, we'll all be in custody and under suspicion for murder. And secondly, I'm the butler. I like to keep the kitchen tidy. The body's gone! What are you all staring at?
Nobody.
What do you mean?
Nobody. No body. Mr. Body's body. It's gone.
Maybe he wasn't really dead.
He was.
We should have made sure.
Well, I thought I had.
So was he dead or wasn't he?
Well, maybe he was dead, but somebody moved him.
Who would move him? And why?
How should I know?
Well, if he's not here, then where is he?
Oh my, all this excitement. I have to. Is there a little girl's room?
Oui, oui, madame.
No, I just want to powder my nose.
There's a toilet outside the billiard room.
I don't mean to alarm anybody, but we do currently have the small issue of 2 dead bodies, 1 present, 1 missing, and the imminent arrival of the police.
The bridge is washed out. That should buy us some extra time. But I don't want extra time. I want the police to arrive. I'm trapped in this house with the murderer.
But when the police get here, the rest of us are doomed.
Wadsworth, am I correct in thinking that there is nobody else in this house?
No.
So there is someone else in this house?
Sorry, I said no meaning yes.
No meaning yes?
Yes.
Look, I want a straight answer.
But don't look at me.
Wadsworth, is there anyone else in this house? Yes or no?
No?
No, there is or no, there isn't.
Yes.
There seems to be some confusion about whether or not there is anyone else in this house.
There isn't.
There isn't any confusion, or there isn't anyone else?
Either? Both.
Just give me a clear answer.
What was the question?
Is there anyone else in this house?
No!
That's what he says, but does he know?
Look, we've got a killer on the loose, a missing dead body of Mr. Body, a cook with a dagger in her back, and all of these easily accessible weapons. The rope, the revolver, the candlestick, the wrench, and the... Hey, where's the lead pipe?
It's Mr. Body! Oh, he's so bloody!
Stand back!
Oh my God.
He's dead.
Well, that's what you said the last time.
I believe in second chances.
Mr. Body? Dead? Again?
I'm going to faint.
I'll catch you. Sorry.
Mrs. Peacock,
Yes.
where did this happen?
In the bathroom. I opened the door and there he was. At first, I thought he was attacking me. But then I realized he had just been left propped up against the door frame. Dead! Just waiting to fall on someone.
Oh, who would do such a thing?
Takes a lot of guts to kill someone twice.
It's what we call overkill.
But why? What's the difference?
Makes a difference to him.
Makes a difference to us. We've got to find out who killed him, where, and with what.
Seems like it was probably the lead pipe.
10 points, Professor Plum.
What kind of game are you playing, Wadsworth?
This isn't a game.
You! The lead pipe belonged to you!
Yes, but I dropped it while running to the kitchen.
People don't just drop murder weapons!
Well, I didn't know it was a murder weapon when I dropped it.
So anybody could have picked it up.
Yes, of course. But who did? Who did pick up the lead pipe? Who picked up the lead pipe and brutally murdered Mr. Body, leaving him dead and bloodied in the bathroom? Who did that? Who?
Cool it, Butler! While you lose your marbles, I'm over here trying to do something useful. Have you all forgotten about the evidence against us?
The evidence!
Body's briefcase is locked.
There must be a key.
Mr. Green, would you be so kind as to check Mr. Body's pockets for the key to his briefcase containing the evidence of our crimes so that we may destroy said evidence once and for all?
Why me?
Why not?
Well, all right.
Where'd you get those?
But I don't like germs.
Or fingerprints?
No, mostly it's really just germs. Oh, it's so warm. Oh. Got it.
Give it here. It's empty.
Empty?
Oh, then where's all the evidence?
I told you Buddy was a liar. Had the evidence in his briefcase, my foot.
We must find that evidence.
And destroy it.
Evidence against us aside, we're in a room with 2 dead bodies.
And the cops are on the way.
Let's move the corpses to the couch so they look less dead.
Okay.
Some party this is turning out to be.
Help me, Mr. Green.
Well, all right.
Careful, don't get guts on the ground.
Solid battlefield technique, Professor Plum. Never leave a man behind.
Cadavers are heavier than they seem, aren't they?
I wouldn't know.
Right, me neither.
Upsy daisy.
Here, prop her up.
Aren't you all strong and virile?
Oh, good. They just look asleep.
Enough about the bodies. We have to do something about this room full of murder weapons and the homicidal maniac on the loose.
Let's put the weapons in the bag.
What good will that do?
Well, then we'll zip up the bag.
Most murderers know how zippers work, Mr. Wadsworth.
I know! We'll put the bag in the safe.
Terrific. Where's the safe?
In the hall.
I don't see a safe.
Is that an original trumbull, Mr. Wadsworth?
Those are quite valuable.
Now is not the time for art appreciation. Butler,
Yes.
A hidden safe behind a portrait. How original.
There. Locked.
Voila!
What are you gonna do with the keys to the safe, Wadsworth?
Oh, yes, the key.
I'll put it in my pocket.
but what if you're the killer?
I'm not.
But what if you are?
I have an idea. We'll throw it outside.
Oui, Alextier.
But it's raining à l'extérieur.
I'm not suggesting we go outside. I'm suggesting we stay inside but throw away the key.
But you'd have to open the door then, wouldn't you?
I would.
But what if the killer is outside?
Better out than in.
Yes, we'd want to keep him outside, wouldn't we? If we open the door, we risk letting him back in.
But maybe if we open the door, we'd encourage the killer to go out.
The killer seems to be doing a fine job of opening and closing doors all by himself. I don't see how us opening the door for one tiny second could possibly make any sort of difference.
But what if we open the door, throw away the key, and the killer catches it? Then he would have the thing we're trying to confiscate.
We might be overthinking this. I'm going to throw away the key. Follow me. Not now!
He didn't look like a killer.
It takes one to know one.
Leave him to me. Interrogation is my specialty.
Oh, no.
How do you do?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to disturb the whole household, but my car broke down and I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Are you a killer?
No!
All right. This way, please.
Well, where is it?
What, the body?
The phone! What body?
What? There's no body. There's nobody.
Right. There's nobody in the study.
No! No, that phone's been disconnected. But I think there's one in the lounge.
Alrighty then.
Right through this door.
Thank you.
All right, listen. We haven't much time. Our task is twofold. 1, find the evidence. 2, find the murderer.
We have one potential suspect contained in the lounge. But that leaves the whole rest of this place up for grabs. I mean, who knows what's behind all these doors?
I suggest we handle this in proper military fashion. We'll split up and search the house.
Split up?
Yes, we'll split up into pairs. That way, none of us will be alone.
But if we split up into pairs, whichever one of us is paired with the killer might get killed.
Mind you?
Yes, but then we would have discovered who the murderer is.
But then the other half of the pair would be dead!
This is war, Peacock. Casualties are inevitable. You cannot make an omelet without breaking eggs. Every cook will tell you that.
But look what happened to the cook! Oh.
Colonel, are you willing to take that chance?
What choice do we have?
None.
I suppose you're right.
All right, troops, divide and conquer. I'll split us up into pairs. Eeny, meeny, miny...
No! Let's see. Mrs. White, you come with me. Professor Plum, you're with Mrs. Peacock. Yvette, you go with Mr. Green. And Miss Scarlet, you're with Eeny, meeny.
But what if one of us doesn't come back?
We'll remember you fondly. Now, leave no door unopened and cherish your partner. This may be the last person you ever see.
I'll be right behind you.
That's why I'm nervous.
But why? It's just us. We're alone.
That's just it, Mrs. White. No man in his right mind would ever be alone with you.
Fine. You go in there, and I'll go in here. Well, are you going in?
Yes, are you?
Yes.
On the count of 3. 1, 3!
Nothing in that room.
Nothing in that room either.
Shall we search the ballroom?
After you.
This is quite an impressive library.
How am I supposed to find anything if I don't even know what I'm looking for?
Civilized society is perpetually menaced with disintegration through this primary hostility of men towards one another.
Your fancy words don't intimidate me, Professor.
I take no credit, Mrs. Peacock. Freud, I think he's onto something.
Now is not the time for academic pursuits. We're supposed to find the evidence.
It's a fruitless search if you ask me. I mean, it's not like we're gonna walk into a room and find the evidence plastered on the wall.
I suppose you're right.
Come on, let's go upstairs. Maybe we'll be excited by something in a bedroom.
I haven't been excited by something in a bedroom in years.
I'm a little nervous. I'm at that big house on the hill and I've been locked in the lounge. I didn't expect there'd be a whole group of people here. They're having some sort of party. And the funny thing is, I think one of them is my customer. Yeah. My regular Tuesday night passenger.
Oh, there you are.
You'll never believe what I found in the hallway. Professor Plum's stupid tobacco pipe.
Huh. What do you think it means?
Who knows? But it seems suspicious if you ask me.
I just did.
Honestly, Colonel, this is the last room left to search in this beastly mansion, and we still haven't found the evidence.
I think this time has been productive, nevertheless.
Well, aren't you a Pollyanna?
You're a brave and determined lady, Miss Scarlet. I've really enjoyed our time together. I hope after this expedition ends, we can remain friends. I mean, really, murders aside, it's just been a lovely group of people, all in all. I suppose I'd like to ask Mrs. White when and how she lost her veil in the billiard room, but...
You found White's veil in the billiard room? Odd.
Odd?
Odd. A trap door! A trap door leading to a secret passage. Come on!
Ladies first, Miss Scarlet.
How heroic.
Oh, where are we now?
How should I know? The lights are off.
Well, turn them on.
I would if I could see anything.
Well, I'm gonna feel my way around.
Don't get any funny ideas.
A table.
A telephone.
A chair.
A body. A body! Find the door!
Get me out of here!
Help!
Let us in! Let us in!
Let us out! Let us out!
We can't let you out. The door to the lounge is locked.
You had the key, Wadsworth! You locked the motorist in here!
That's right. I did. I do. I don't. The keys are gone. Gone?
I have an idea! There's a murderer on the loose! Please get us out of here!
There's no alternative. I'm just gonna have to break down the door. Stand back! I'm a doctor.
Stand back! I'm a woman!
Can somebody please help me?
What was that noise?
what
Please
happened
get
in
us out
there?
of here! I will help you! I'm done shooting at you. The door is open. You can come out now.
Why were you shooting at us?
To open the door.
You could have killed us.
I said stand back.
Let's add finding the keys to the lounge to our priorities list.
Safe, Frenchie. Where'd you find that gun anyway?
The safe. It was unlocked.
Unlocked? Impossible. I have the key. No, I haven't. It's gone.
Gone?
Not to beat a dead horse, but again, I feel like having all the keys is...
I thought you said you'd throw away the keys to the safe, Wadsworth.
I did say that, but I didn't do that. We got distracted by the motorist at the door and I forgot. One of you must have snatched the keys from my pocket when we were searching the house.
So whoever took the keys is the killer.
Precisely.
Speaking of the killer, there's a dead body in the lounge, you know. The motorist is dead.
Which one of you killed him?
We found him together.
And he was already dead.
But the door to the lounge was locked.
We went through a secret passage we found in the conservatory.
A secret passage? Who designed this place?
The Parker brothers. Don't worry, it's not the police.
It's the police!
No!
It's the decent thing to do. Open the door! Good evening, sir. Good evening, officer. We've been expecting you.
You have?
We haven't?
I got a tip about an abandoned car near the gates of this house. Did a motorist stop by for help by any chance?
No. Yes?
There seems to be some disagreement. At any rate, can I come in and use the phone?
No!
Well, of course you may, sir. There's a phone in the lounge.
It's out of order.
Of course, my mistake. Well, you can use the one in the study.
It's occupied.
If you please, sir, you may use the phone in the library.
Right
this way.
Library.
You're all acting rather peculiar.
It's because our chandelier fell down. It could have killed us, but don't worry. The maid will clean it up.
That's all well and good, but what's going on in the lounge and the study?
Lounging, studying, this way.
Let me have a look.
No, thank you.
What?
This way, please.
Actually, I'd like to take a look around if you don't mind.
Of course, officer. Allow me to take you on a grand tour of Body Manor. This home was built by Lord Reginald Body in 1784.
We've got to cover our tracks and get rid of this guy.
Lord Body had been declared Lord Body after somebody discovered an antibody that would save everybody. Notice the mahogany floor. Did you know in the 17th century, the buccaneer John Esquemeling recorded the use of mahogany for making canoes? Can you canoe?
What? Hey, where'd everybody go?
Notice the brass doorknobs crafted specifically for Lord Body by his buddy in 1878.
Look, mister, I don't care about the doorknobs. What's going on around here? What are you hiding in those two rooms?
Which two rooms?
The lounge and the study?
Oh, those two rooms.
Yes.
No, officer, I don't think you should go in there.
Why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
Hello, officer. Welcome to the party.
Excuse me.
Oh, you are excused.
Pardon me.
Good night, officer.
Good night. That wasn't all that shocking, mister. Those folks were just having a good time. Why didn't you tell me that this was a party?
My apologies, sir.
I'll just take a peek in the lounge if you don't mind. Excuse me.
Good evening, officer. How do you do?
Are these men drunk?
Dead drunk.
Want a sip?
Oh, I can't drink while on the job. The chief would kill me.
Killed if you do, killed if you don't.
What?
Huh?
Have a lovely evening, officer.
Same to you. Well,
I can explain everything.
no explanation necessary. There's nothing illegal about any of this.
There's not?
Of course not. This is America, and that was the pursuit of happiness. May I use the phone now?
Certainly. The library, officer.
Thank you.
Psst. All's clear. You can come out now. Well done, all of you. Impressive.
Great job, Colonel.
It was a good. I know it was disgusting. Good touch with a woman.
All right. I've locked him in the library.
How'd you do that? I thought you didn't have the keys.
I didn't have my right pocket keys, but my left pocket keys are intact. Now, let's finish searching the manor. The police are on their way.
But the police already came.
Not the broken down car police, the criminal investigation police.
Precisely. We must find the evidence, and we can't afford to have any more murders. This is getting dangerous. Now go!
Hello? Hello? Power outage? Must be the storm. Oh, hello, Chief. Yes, this is... Hello? Hello? Are you still there? Is this phone working?
Hello? Who turned out the lights? Hello? Oh, it is only you. You scared me. I thought you was the killer.
Did somebody cut the line? Hello?
Oh, did you find a clue? What is that in your head? No! No!
Oh, good. You can hear me. You see, I found this abandoned car and wound up in an old mansion where all the lights just went out. I'm telling you, Chief, there's something funny going on around here. They're having some sort of party. You'll never believe who I just saw. Psst!
No!
Let there be light.
Oh, thank goodness. Wait, shh, shh. Do you hear that?
It sounds like a telephone is off the hook.
It's coming from the library.
That's where the killer must be.
I'm going in.
Aren't you afraid?
Of course.
Of what? A fate worse than death?
No, just death. Excuse me, Mr. Cop. Are you all right? Do you need assistance? A phone book, perhaps?
Hey, listen, copper. The butler here asked you a question. Hang up the telephone already, or I will.
Here, in the billiard room.
I don't feel safe.
I can't relax.
How about a round of pool to pass the time?
Oh,
I don't understand.
I haven't played in a while, but
See, like this is the right time. I just. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Hey, I am your singing telegram.
Professor?
3 murders in 3 minutes.
That's our best record.
3 murders. 6 altogether.
The cook, Mr. Body, the motorist, the cop, Yvette, and the singing telegram girl.
But who is the murderer?
Ain't that the million-dollar question?
Sometimes the most obvious answer is right under our noses. I think the best course of action is to retrace our steps. It all started like this. At the start of the evening, there was thunder, lightning, the dogs barked. Ding dong, Colonel Mustard. Ding dong, Mrs. White, who noticed Yvette. Mrs. Peacock, who noticed the cook. Then Mr. Green. Sit! No, not you, sir. Please come in. Then Professor Plum, Miss Scarlet. Then dinner is served. Well, that was more like a cocktail minute. To the dining room. Shark's fin soup. Ew, yummy, yummy, yum, yum. My favorite. Then Mr. Body arrived and I suggested we all head to the study. Coffee? Brandy? Who is this body fellow, you brutish butler? How do you do? Oh! Then Mr. Body asked me to pass out packages. One for you, one for you, one for you, one for you, one for you. Ah! A snake! No, it's a rope. Then Mr. Body switched off the lights. Now! Mr. Body was dead, but not really. Really, he was alive, but we didn't know that. Then Mrs. Peacock drank his drink. Poison! Ah! Well, someone had to stop her screaming. Then we all heard... to the billiard room! But Mrs. Peacock joined late. I'm an old woman who may or may not have been poisoned. Then Mrs. White asked, who else is in this house? To which we all replied, the cook, who we found knifed in the back. Oh God, so gross. Blood, germs. Will somebody please help me up? I suggested we take the cook's body into the study, but Buddy's body was gone. Then Mrs. Peacock entered with body on her body because Buddy had been bludgeoned in his bean. Next, the briefcase. Empty! Then the motorist arrived. Are you a killer? And I locked him in the lounge. Dead! Then the unexpected cop showed up. You're all acting rather peculiar. Can you canoe? Dead! Then the maid got strangled in the billiard room. Dead! Until finally, hey, I am bang! And here we all are.
Impressive, Wadsworth.
But what does it prove?
Nothing!
Well...
Enough of this! I know who the murderer is!
You do?
I do.
All right, then. We're listening. Miss Scarlet, who do you accuse?
It was Professor Plum in the hall with the revolver!
Liar!
We all heard the gun go off, Professor. And I found your stupid tobacco pipe when we were here searching the house. When'd you drop it? Huh? While scoping out the best vantage point for you to kill your next victim? I bet that poor singing telegram girl was an old patient of yours, right?
I've never seen that girl before in my life. It wasn't me.
Well, the gun is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the gun is the murderer.
Well done, Wadsworth. You won't be able to prove anything if you're all dead.
That may be so, Professor. But if we're alive, officers, there's your man.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. Handcuffs, Chief of Police. And Professor Plum, you're coming with me.
That's not how it happened. It happened like this.
All right, Professor, we're listening. Who do you accuse?
It was Colonel Mustard in the lounge with the wrench.
I never lounge.
I found your Medal of Honor in the lounge where the motorist was killed by a wrench to the head, and that wrench belonged to you.
That's a lie.
The wrench is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the wrench is the killer.
Oh, well done, Wadsworth.
There's your man, officer. Not a kernel of truth in him.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. Guilty verdict. Chief of Police, Colonel Mustard, you're coming with me.
You have it all wrong. It happened like this.
All right, Colonel, we're listening. Who do you accuse?
It was Mrs. White in the billiard room with the rope.
I'd rather die.
I found your veil in the billiard room, and I saw how you cringed tonight when Yvette served you dinner.
Yes, it's true. I knew Yvette. She had a torrid love affair with my late husband. I hated her. I hated her so much, it the flames. On the side of my face, breathing, heaving breaths. But just because I hated her does not mean I killed her!
The rope is missing. Gentlemen, turn out your pockets. Ladies, empty your purses.
Well done, Wadsworth.
Well done, Wadsworth.
That's what I said.
Yes, well, I'm saying it now. Mark my words. Chief of Police. Mrs. White.
It happened like this.
Mrs. White, who do you accuse?
It was Mrs. Peacock in the kitchen with the dagger. I found your feather by the corpse.
Gentlemen, turn out your...
Well done, Wadsworth. That's what I said. Yes, well, I'm saying it now.
Barry D. Hatchet.
Chief of Police.
But that's not how it happened.
It happened like this.
It was Miss Scarlet in the library with the candlestick.
Maximum, Chief of Police.
You can't do this to me.
Frankly, Miss Scarlet, I don't give a damn. But it really happened like this. I know who the murderer is.
Who?
All of you! Nobody move, you're all killers!
You can't prove anything, Mr. Wadsworth.
I'm not Mr. Wadsworth. I'm Mr. Body.
How can you be Mr. Body if Body bled all over me?
It wasn't Body who was bleeding.
But if Body wasn't Body, then who was he?
He was Wadsworth, my butler.
But if you're the real Mr. Body, then what was your purpose in dragging this all out?
Well, when you started murdering people, I decided to roll the dice, see if you'd self-implode, kill off my entire network of spies and informers, which you all did. Splendidly, by the way, generously leaving your fingerprints on every glass, doorknob, and dead body. So now, I have each of you on the hook for murder. Bribery for petty crimes is one thing, but murder, now that could get expensive.
But why this whole charade?
The searching of the house, the madness of retracing our steps.
It's all part of the game.
Game?
Well, yeah. I'm relaxed now, you see. Now that you've killed everyone off, there's no evidence left against me. I've got off scot-free.
But the police will be here any minute. He'll never get away with this.
What's so funny?
Nobody's called the police. Have they?
They were never on their way.
Now listen up, you reprobates. We're gonna stack the bodies in the cellar, lock the cellar door, leave Body Manor one at a time, and forget that any of this ever happened.
I can't forget all this.
With murder on the menu, the price of blackmail just tripled.
Forgotten.
Now move!
Wait a minute! We can all rush him. He's got no more bullets left in that gun.
Oh, come on. You don't think I'm gonna fall for that old trick?
It's not a trick. There was one shot at Mr. Body in the study, 2 at the lounge door, 2 for the chandelier, and 1 for the singing telegram girl.
That's not 6.
1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
There was only one shot that got the chandelier. That's 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
Even if you were right, that would be 1 + 1 + 2 + 1, not 1 + 2 + 1 + 1.
Okay, fine. 1 + 2 + Shut up! Point is, there is 1 bullet left in this gun, and anybody who moves is gonna get it.
So you're just gonna keep blackmailing us and we're all supposed to pretend that this never happened?
Of course. Why not?
Well, I'll tell you why not. Larry Goodman, FBI, the jig is up.
Or is it?
Missed me.
You're FBI?
Apparently, I'm a dead ringer for Green. He got a letter just like each of you. But he came to the bureau to ask for help. I took his place tonight so we could have a sting operation.
Some sting? 6 people died on your watch.
Well, I usually work the desk. My beat is property crime. You know, theft and fraud. That's why I was so tickled when the real Mr. Wadsworth risked his neck to drop off a whole briefcase worth of evidence last night.
You've had the evidence this whole time?
It's all here. Miss Scarlett's books, including the names of customers and employees, justifying why she killed the cop who's listed here on her payroll.
Give me that!
Ooh, what else? A love letter addressed to Professor Plum.
That's private property.
That singing telegram girl was teenage daughter of the head of you-know-who would have come clean to Daddy, who would have cleaned out Professor Plum. So, you killed her.
Now see here.
And these negatives, Colonel, quite the regular at Miss Scarlett's establishment. Bet you couldn't be a real colonel anymore if that motorist had informed your general where he drives you on Tuesday nights.
I just wanted somebody to talk with.
Shark fin soup indeed, Mrs. Peacock. Too bad your old cook couldn't keep quiet. If only she hadn't blabbed about your briberies, maybe you wouldn't have killed her just before joining us outside the billiard room. Now we know what really took you so long.
Circumstantial evidence will never hold up in a court of law.
But this notarized record from the cook will. And, Mrs. White, you weren't lying, were you? You really did hate Yvette.
Flames. On the side of my
Okay,
face.
we get it! Here is a container holding the fingerprints collected at the scenes of your previous murders.
I never murdered my husband's.
Fingerprints, I'm sure, the FBI will be able to match to the ones found on the noose tied around Yvette's neck.
I wore gloves.
You mean these? And last, but not least, Mr. Bobby Body.
It's Robert.
Now, you didn't hate Yvette at all, did you?
What's it to you?
Illicit green card love affair was the icing on the cake to this FBI file. An FBI file on the whole Body family. Your butler, the real Wadsworth, has been feeding us information for months. Talk about a real American.
He was British.
You know what I mean. I see why you'd try to kill him. Twice. Your shot missed him in the study, but he wisely played dead. And it wasn't until you caught him trying to escape that you bludgeoned him to death with a lead pipe I dropped on my way to the kitchen.
I mean, seriously, who drops a murder weapon?
I didn't know that it was a... The Body family has been wanted for organized crime for generations, but they've always eluded the law. Until now. Tonight, the Body family business has reached a dead end.
You leave my family out of this! Ow! Ow! Oh, Larry! Oh, hold me, Larry! Oh, it's so dark! Second wind! If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. Baked a cake. Baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. Ha-cha-doo, ha-cha-doo, ha-cha-doo. Oh, yes. Here we go. I'm gone.
He's dead.
Not yet. Smile when your heart is breaking. Smile. Mama? Mama? Mama! Larry! 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 Now!
Boy, I'll tell you, that was the most exciting night I've had in a long time. And now, you're all under arrest. Officers? Here are the criminals you've been looking for, and you'll find the recordings of their confessions we've been waiting for in the billiard room.
The tapes!
All right. Who done it?
She did! They all did! But, if you want to know who killed Mr. Body, it was me. Special Agent Larry Goodman, in the hall with my gun.
Well done, Goodman. That's what he said.
And that's how it really... Sorry. Okay, Chief, take him away. I'm going home to sleep with my wife.